So, Hussein, who do you think first came up with the idea of electrons?
Well, wasn't it Thomson he discovered with the cathode ray tube, right?
Well, that's a good answer, but even before him, it was actually Henrik Lorentz who first popularized the idea of electrons. His theory was so powerful that it could explain all of optics and even the Zeeman effect.
That's interesting. What was his theory, by the way?
So it all starts in the 1870s. By then, there was like a bunch of theories for electromagnetism, but there was not like a definite one. The main challenge was like explain all of optics through EM because people had a good intuition that light is related to electricity.
Oh yeah, Maxwell did argue that the equations show traveling waves, and the speed of them did match up to the speed of light.
Exactly, and that brings us to Maxwell's theory. His framework was the leading one at the time because it could explain a lot of light's behavior. But even his theory could not explain reflection and refraction. Another issue is that he omitted the idea of charged particles, which a lot of people found confusing because that was like the basis of electricity.
So wait, the idea of charged particles, did that exist before Lorentz as well?
Well, yes, it was not unique to Lorentz, but the main issue was that no one could explain EM with charged particles without also invoking action at a distance. So it was like similar to massive objects in Newtonian gravity.
I see. So the main issue is having electrons and also not having instantaneous forces.
Yes, precisely. And this is what Lorentz's theory set out to do. In his theory, he basically postulates that all of matter is made of charged particles or electrons. And once again, as I said before, it's not a unique idea. But the new thing he came up with is saying that these electrons act like harmonic oscillators. So they're like bound by tiny springs. Now you can think of how light would interact with these electrons. So whenever the light pushes this electron, it vibrates back and forth, and this generates new light. And this interference causes the light to slow down.
So he could basically explain refraction using electrons.
Yes, and not only refraction. Once he refined his theory, he could explain all of optics, which even Maxwell couldn't. So Lorentz showed why electrons could be so powerful, but possibly the coolest thing he could explain was the Zeeman effect.
You did mention that before, but I was thinking that isn't Zeeman effect mainly a quantum mechanical phenomena? How does that apply here?
So for that, we have to consider all the types of oscillations the electron can have. So they could be going back and forth like this, or maybe they could even be oscillating in a circle like a pendulum. And each of these vibrations will have like a set period of oscillation, which will release a particular wavelength of light, like Lorentz said.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Zeeman realized that when you have a magnetic field, these periods will change, especially the circular ones due to the Lorentz force. With this, he could perfectly reproduce a Zeeman triplet theoretically. So Lorentz's theory was so powerful that could even predict the Zeeman effect classically.
That's pretty crazy.